Hey, what's up guys, Raman here, Monster Gadgets. I hope you're all having a wonderful day wherever you might be. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me first start off by addressing a couple things. Number one, yes, I have not uploaded a video in the last week and a half. Actually, it'll be almost 2 weeks tomorrow. For those of you that reached out to me on Instagram, thank you so much. I am actually okay. I did get sick for a little while, not due to COVID-19, but I had a sinus infection. And as you can imagine, with COVID-19 kind of being in the picture, a lot of moving parts that are in the world right now, and due to work and other constraints and also being sick, I wasn't able to upload a video, but I am hoping moving forward that I should be able to get back on track. Secondly, I think we are all in the same boat in regards to going through the troubles of COVID-19. Obviously, the world is seeing the effects of it. A lot of countries are on lockdown, or states are on lockdown here in the US, or shelter at home. And it's a very difficult time for us to all go through. I understand from an economic standpoint, it's also affecting a lot of businesses and people's ability to work. But this will all pass over, and I hope that everyone is doing their part in containing the virus. So if you don't have to go out there, please don't go out there. Stay home, spend time with your loved ones and your family inside the house and prevent the spread of this virus. I think this calls for a time for all of us to be unified and help each other out by containing this virus. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into my 2-week review of the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra 5G. Alright guys, welcome back. So a couple things I want to cover is number one, screen and the fingerprint sensor. Number two is the battery life. And number three is the actual camera quality and capabilities of the Samsung Galaxy S20. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the screen and the fingerprint sensor. This screen by itself would be hands down the best screen that I've seen on any smartphone in quite a long time. Now this screen, from any angle that you look at, is extremely vivid. And I don't even have it set to the highest setting. It's set to the normal 1080 setting. And as you guys can see, on even medium brightness, this looks really, really nice. And quite honestly, I don't even think my camera does it justice. When you're holding it in hand, looking at it from every angle, the picture looks vivid, the picture looks clean, crisp, and just absolutely stunning. Now, let's talk a little bit about the fingerprint scanner. The fingerprint scanner, unfortunately, I've tried a couple different things, and it's a hit and miss. I thought at first maybe it was me because I'm coming from the Galaxy Note 8 where it's got the fingerprint scanner on the back, and I was trying to get used to the fingerprint scanner being in the front and behind the glass. But I noticed that regardless of which finger I try to use, whether it was right thumb or my left thumb, it still did the same thing, where at times I would click on it and give it a small little push and it would recognize it and had absolutely no issues. And other times I would literally click on it and it would just kind of give me that redo. And so to me, I don't like that at all, coming especially from the Galaxy Note 8. Every single time I had my finger on the fingerprint scanner, without a doubt, every single time it worked flawlessly. With this, again, like I said, it's a hit and miss, so maybe they'll come out with a software update to fix this, I'm not sure, but until that happens, I'm not exactly sold on the fingerprint scanner for this phone. Moving on to the battery life. As I mentioned in my previous video a couple weeks ago, if you guys haven't seen it, I'll go ahead and card it here. I did use this phone as my daily driver for work, and I used it very, very heavily. I'm talking looking at emails, web browsing, Microsoft Teams to talk to the rest of my teams and things like that. So I used it very heavily. I normally start my day anywhere from 6 to 7 a.m. and by night I can comfortably say my battery was still at about 45–50%, which is quite impressive. On my older phone, which I still have the Galaxy Note 8, the battery life on that is decent, and I would come down to anywhere between 20% or so by the end of the day. But with the Samsung Galaxy S20, like I mentioned, anywhere between 45–50% on my typical use, which is very heavy use, and I was able to get that much time out of the battery. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the camera itself. I was super stoked about the camera. Samsung has come out and announced that it's got obviously a huge sensor. It's got 108 megapixel on the rear facing camera. And while the megapixel doesn't always depict the actual quality of the picture, there's a lot of things that go into making a great photo. So one thing I'm going to focus on is the fact that right now, for some reason, the focus on this camera is a bit off. As you guys can see, it's a bit jittery. I'm simply keeping the phone in place. And because the subject is so close, it's having a hard time picking which area to focus on. And I've noticed this happen in multiple settings, not only just in close objects, but also in general. It wasn't able to pick, for example, even from a face detection standpoint, who should be in focus and who shouldn't. So that for me was a complete bummer. The quality of the camera itself is along the lines of Samsung. The pictures are vivid, a bit contrasty, if you will, and that's typical of Samsung. We've seen that in all the other phones that they've come out with, and this one is no different. But I was simply hoping that the focus on this would be a lot better. Unfortunately, it's not. And so that to me is a complete letdown. I'm curious to see if that gets improved with upcoming software updates. That could be something that Samsung pushes out and it fixes the issue. And if it does, that's awesome. You know, this will be a great camera for this phone. So that's kind of my take on the Samsung S20. Like I said, I've had it for 2 weeks. Use it as my daily driver. And those are some of the things that I noticed in regards to the screen, the battery, as well as the camera. So I'm curious to see what you guys think. If you want to go ahead and leave me some comments down below, right underneath the thumbs up button, make sure you hit that. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you are using the phone and what your take is on it. I would love to get that feedback from you. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Stay safe out there, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.